You probably realise we have 3 levels of government here in Australia. We have local, state and federal, which protocol-wise means federal speak first, state speak second, and as local we go last, and because I'm a guest in Councillor Wong's ward, I go last. So there's really not much more for me to say because they've all said it all. One of the things that's actually, I was having a look in the Immigration Citizenship book, rules and regulations thing that the officers got here before, and I noticed there was one thing missing in the duty of becoming an Australian citizen, and that's sitting and listening to many politicians speak. So I'm not going to make it very painful because I know we all want to get on with the job, become Australian citizens. Yes, I was born overseas, and I'd like to know if anyone can guess where, because I don't think they can. But anyway, Lord Mayor didn't realise I was born overseas. So I'm just going to say welcome to Australia. It's a wonderful place, and I'm sure we will see you around the track somewhere. Thank you.
Victoria, making sure that I do this part of the ceremony correctly. So I'll now read the preamble to the Australian Citizenship Act 2007. Australian citizenship represents full and formal membership of the community of the Commonwealth of Australia. Diversity. Persons on whom Australian citizenship is conferred enjoy these rights and undertake to accept these obligations by pledging loyalty to Australia and its people, by sharing their democratic beliefs, by respecting their rights and liberties, by upholding and obeying the laws of Australia. As such, citizenship is both of value to the individual and to the nation. So now it is time for you to make your pledge of commitment. This will be conducted in 2 parts, as candidates have the choice to make pledge number 1 or pledge number 2, and I think you have been given a sheet. So the candidate on forward under God. I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs I share, whose rights and liberties I respect, and whose laws I will uphold and obey. That wasn't too painful. Please have a seat. I pledge my loyalty to Australia and its people, whose democratic beliefs I share. All right. Please be seated, and on behalf of the government and people of Australia, I warmly congratulate you and welcome you now as Australian citizens. Thank you.
Kim Marks and Louis Lee OEN to be beside Mr. Grant Perrett MP. After you have received your certificate on my left, they proceed to my right to receive gifts from Melody Chen and Councillor Stephen Huang to be beside Melody Chen. Candidates' name will now be called out. When your name is called, please move to the front of the stage. Please feel free to Mr. Sandhya Putra Singh. E.B. Noah. Mr. Stair Jennifer. Mr. Dear Timothy Francis. Miss Pinati Sylvia. Miss Guo Nongxin.
Quicker, next slide, please. Please.
Husband.
Quicker, please. Gotta be quick.
Miss Holsworth.
Thank you.
Ready? Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ready? Anakin. 13 John. Thirdly, so on. Third, Martha Blessing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please ask.
I was telling the truth before when I said you don't have to listen anymore to politicians. So this is where you can just sort of drift off a little bit, okay? Because Victoria is not listening for me to say this correctly. These are my official rules to be a good Australian, not anyone else's. So I'm just telling them to you that you don't have to write them down. There won't be a test or anything like that. Find some Australian greenery. Go and talk to Kim Marks or Stephen Wang or your councillor, and you can actually get some trees that you can go and plant. Put them down and say, this is my tree, this is my investment in Australia. Get some gum leaves, smell them in your fingers, get some dirt under your fingernails and smell Australia. That's rule number one, to be a good Australian. Number two is to track down some Australian literature or poetry or a play or a movie that speaks to you. Some Australian story, whether it was written 6 months ago or 200 years ago or 60,000 years ago, find some literature and read it and love it and know it. That's number two. Number three, talk to your neighbours, share a meal with your neighbours. If possible, join a community service club like Lions or Rotary or World Arts and do your bit to help your neighbours, whether it be neighbours down the road or the neighbours right next door. So that's number three. Number four, you need to find an Aboriginal word for the area you live in and use that every now and then. It could be the Aboriginal word for beer or food or dance or weather. Find an Aboriginal word that you can use. And that's not taking away from the advice that Freya gave about making sure you still keep those family links to your language. I understand that, but this is to find a new word, an original word, an Aboriginal word for your area. Now, number five, and I guess I'll use Freya as an example, Freya came, with those connections to Holland. I'm sure Freya has a particular affinity with Holland when they're competing. When there's a Dutch sporting team competing, I'm sure she is sympathetic to them. Yeah, they're in our league. They're in our group of 4 in Brazil this year, in fact. So might be good. I understand that. You'll always have that connection to your country, original country. But you need to find an Australian team that can be your number 1. Make it the netball, make it the swimming, make it the ice skating, whatever, but find an Australian team that can be your number 1 team. And I understand occasionally Australia will be number 2. But if Australia is ever number 3, we will deport you. Okay, that's not a well-known law, Victoria, but thank you for the chance to share this with you. We really appreciate it. Have a great day. It's been a wonderful honour for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perrett, MP. Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask Dana Yee, the President of War Arts and Multicultural, to touch a little bit about Australian Citizenship Certificate, the certificate that you have. She will touch it. She will touch it.
Thank you, Louise. Congratulations, all the candidates. Can all the citizens please check your certificate carefully? Your official Australian citizenship certificate is a very important legal document and is your evidence of the Australian citizenship. Please ensure that your name and the date of the birth are correct. And today's date is printed on your certificate in the bottom left-hand corner. If there are any problems, please speak to the Department of Immigration and Border Protection staff member after the ceremony concludes. Your certificate should be stored in a cool, dry location. Please do not damage your certificate by folding it or do not laminate it. Damaged or laminated certificate will not be accepted by Australia Passport Office. We also do not recommend frame your certificate, as you will need to quote the AWC number listed on the back of your certificate to apply for an Australia passport. Thank you so much and congratulations again.
Which is a short ceremony where all Australians can publicly celebrate being in Australia. The words of the affirmation are based on the Australian Citizens Bridge met by candidates earlier. By participating in an affirmation ceremony, you are expressing your support for the value and the principles that underpin Australian citizenship. Everyone is welcome to join us in this affirmation ceremony. Participation is voluntary and has no legal standing. Now, please stand up and repeat after me. Everyone, I affirm my loyalty to Australia and its people. Whose democratic beliefs I share. Whose rights and liberties I respect. And whose law I uphold and obey. Thank you. Be seated.
With your certificate of Australian citizenship, you will receive a partially completed electoral enrollment form. Please check the details and correct them if necessary. Add in your occupation and postal address, your Australian driver's license number, and state and sign. Once the form has been completed, it should be given to the officer from Australian Electoral Commission. If you do not have Australian driver's license, please take your form to eligible British subjects Please also sign and hand in the enrollment form so that your enrollment records can be updated for your new citizenship status. All Australian citizens need to maintain their electoral details for their current address. If you are not
can you present a certificate to Mr. Perrett? He is our presiding officer and also the federal member for Moreton. Thank you, Mr. Perrett. You have to take a photograph. Look over there. Stay behind. Don't move. Thank you. Next, can I ask Freya?
Cái nói in or out? Ready?
Thank you. Stay behind. Stay behind. Thank you. Thank you. I can make a stop. Remember for our test.
Here we go.
Right.
Ready? Here we go.
Thank you. Next, can I ask Tina to present? I have in the center. Yeah. Thank you. And I ask next section to come to the stage. Thank you, Victoria, for all your advice and guidance. Stay behind. Next, can I thank you for your support. Dana, come join us. Stay. Yeah.
Too wide. I
Too
need
wide.
someone stand on that step. Just show your head in between. Yes. Here we go. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.